Anthony Armstrong Jones is often remembered as the man who married Princess Margaret, the younger sister of Queen Elizabeth II. To the public, he seemed like a modern success story, a talented photographer from a well-connected family who captured the heart of a princess and became part of Britain's most famous family. But behind the glamour, royal titles, and newspaper headlines was a far more complicated reality. Over the years, Anthony Armstrong Jones developed a reputation for living a life that often conflicted with the expectations placed upon a royal husband. His marriage to Princess Margaret became increasingly strained. Both of them were linked to numerous affairs, and eventually their relationship collapsed in full view of the public. Then, decades later, a DNA test revealed a secret that had remained hidden for more than 40 years. The discovery showed that Anthony had fathered a daughter outside his marriage to Princess Margaret. Even more surprising was the identity of the people involved. The child's mother was the wife of one of his closest friends, a fact that added a new chapter to a story already filled with controversy. To understand how these events unfolded, we need to go back to the beginning. Anthony Charles Robert Armstrong Jones was born in London on March 7, 1930. Although he was not born into the royal family, he came from a privileged background. His father was a successful barrister, and his family enjoyed connections within Britain's upper classes. His childhood, however, was not always easy. At a young age, he contracted polio, a serious disease that affected thousands of children during that era. Although he recovered, the illness left him with a slight limp that remained throughout his life. Like many boys from wealthy families, Anthony attended prestigious boarding schools, including Eton College. It was there that he developed interests that would stay with him for years, particularly photography. After school, he enrolled at Cambridge University to study architecture. However, his academic career did not go according to plan. He struggled with his studies and failed important examinations. Rather than continuing along a traditional professional path, he decided to pursue photography full-time. At first, his parents were not enthusiastic about the decision. Photography was not viewed as a particularly prestigious profession compared to law, politics, or the military. Nevertheless, Anthony was determined to build a career for himself. Throughout the 1950s, he worked hard to establish his reputation. His photographs were modern, creative, and different from the more formal styles common at the time. He photographed actors, artists, writers, and members of London's growing cultural scene. As his reputation grew, so did his social circle. Anthony became known as a charming and charismatic figure who moved comfortably among celebrities, aristocrats, and intellectuals. He enjoyed parties, social events, and the excitement of London's rapidly changing cultural landscape. His success eventually brought him into contact with members of the royal family. In the late 1950s, he was commissioned to photograph several royal subjects, including Princess Margaret. At the time, Margaret was one of the most famous women in Britain. Her earlier relationship with Group Captain Peter Townsend had attracted enormous public attention. Because Townsend was divorced, the relationship faced significant opposition and ultimately ended. Princess Margaret had long been seen as a royal who sacrificed personal happiness for duty. When Anthony Armstrong Jones entered her life, he seemed unlike anyone she had known before. A talented photographer, he was creative, independent, and treated her as a person rather than simply a princess. Their friendship gradually developed into a romance, and in February 1960, their engagement was announced, generating enormous public excitement. The couple married on May 6, 1960, at Westminster Abbey in the first royal wedding ever broadcast on television. Millions watched as they began what appeared to be a promising future together. Soon after, they enjoyed a Caribbean honeymoon and later welcomed 2 children, David and Sarah. For a time, they seemed to be a happy and modern royal family. However, beneath the surface, difficulties were growing. Anthony struggled with the restrictions and constant scrutiny that came with royal life, while Margaret faced pressures of her own. Over the years, reports of affairs and strained relationships surrounded both of them. Trust gradually eroded, and by the 1970s, their marriage was clearly in trouble. Public attention intensified when photographs linked Margaret to Roddy Llewellyn, a younger man whose friendship with the princess became widely discussed. In 1978, Princess Margaret and Anthony Armstrong Jones officially divorced, bringing an end to one of the most closely watched royal marriages of the 20th century. The separation attracted worldwide attention and marked a significant moment in royal history, as royal divorces were still relatively uncommon at the time. Although Anthony later remarried, controversy never completely disappeared from his life. Years after the divorce, new revelations continued to emerge. In 2004, DNA testing confirmed that Polly Fry was Anthony's biological daughter, exposing a secret that had remained hidden for decades and adding another chapter to his already complicated personal story. Anthony Armstrong Jones died in 2017 at the age of 86, bringing an end to a life that had long been intertwined with art, celebrity, and royal history. Today, he is remembered as both a highly talented photographer and a controversial public figure. His innovative approach to portrait photography earned him widespread recognition and helped modernize the image of the British royal family. Through his work, he photographed some of the most influential people of his era and established a respected creative career. At the same time, his personal life frequently generated headlines. Reports of affairs, family secrets, and unexpected revelations ensured that controversy often followed him throughout his life. These events added complexity to his public image and continue to shape discussions about his legacy. More than anything, Anthony Armstrong Jones remains a fascinating and complicated figure. His story combines creativity, fame, privilege, ambition, and scandal, making him one of the most intriguing individuals ever connected to the modern British royal family.